Welcome to this episode of MMBASSTV. Going to show you something different today. Thought I had one crawling up. Call this a power shot. I'm using a drop shot with a finesse worm on it with bigger line. Show you what a drop shot can really do and how to use it in a different manner.
Every angler is always looking for the latest and greatest, not just in their baits and equipment, but also in presentation. Mark is going to be using a power finesse presentation. It's a hybrid drop shot rig called the Power Shot.
A drop shot came from Japan. Technique developed over there. We've drop shotted over here for years. Sinker above a bait, and that's all it is. And it puts the bait at a fish eye level for fish that are in kind of a negative mood. Let me tell you, I got a negative mood day. Wind blowing, high and blue, chilly, and they're not really biting well. So we're going to take every advantage we can with this presentation. You can use multiple kind of baits. I love a straight tail plastic worm with this. I may have to go down to even a smaller presentation, smaller size worm to get these fish to react to it. But I'm doing it with a little heavier cover, tackle. I call this power shotting, where I am fishing it just like I would on a casting rod and reel, just like I would a flipping stick, casting rod, 12-pound lines, what I've got on here, 12-pound InvisX, a 2/0 offset round bend hook in a 1/4 ounce tungsten Strike King drop shot weight. And this is a way that if you don't have a lot of experience, it's very productive. The fish is right at the fish's eye, the fish gets it, he swims. You can just reel and get that fish to the boat. You don't have to set the hook hard. Or I can go in the cover and get it. Now, drop shot fishing, most time I have 8-pound test line, spinning rod. Very productive that way, but I'm in a place that's got some awfully nice fish in it, and I don't want to lose those fish if I get the bite. So I'm using heavier line. Color of water is muddy. I'll do this in dead muddy water to water in which I can see 6, 8, 10 feet depth of clarity. This presentation really works well. You can fish this thing any way you want to. You can fish it, let it hit the bottom, reel it back in, you can shake it, you can drag it like a Carolina rig. I like to get it around a piece of cover and just kind of shake it. Or just shake it going down the bank. Keep it in one spot as long as I can. Let that fish find it. But it is a neat way to fish. Little guy, get us started. Got him a little bit of ox blood on that worm. Just right in his eyes. That's the whole key to this whole thing. Is it sits right on the bottom like that. Any movement I give it causes that tail just to move real nice and natural. But it's kind of a non-natural presentation that's right in their face. And that's why they bite the darn thing. It's just right there in front of them. In this lake, we've got isolated rock piles out here. And because it's so cold, or been so cold, I think these fish have kind of pulled to those just because of the extra heat that those rocks are holding. But a drop shot is something that I can fish in 40-degree water. It's something I can fish in 80-degree water, anywhere in between. It is an absolute fantastic presentation to catch fish when they're in a non-aggressive mood, just like we've got today. He's pulling it. Big bluegill bit it right then. Biting it. Biting it and biting it and biting it. Most of the time when a bass bites it, it's either pressure or your line just takes off. If you feel brr, brr, beep, 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 it's generally not a bass. There's a good fish. That's a decent fish right there. That's a decent fish. Yeah, that's a good fish right there. Oh my gosh, get with it, big boy. I mean, it just got heavy. It didn't even hardly move. You can see I barely set the hook. I didn't even set it hard. That's a nice one on a darn cold front day anywhere in the world. Hell, that is. It's got it, guys. Yeah, it's only 12-pound line, so I'm not pulling real hard with it. I wish I had 20 on right now. I promise you that. Come here, big one. Come here. Come here. Open up. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Look at that one. That is a very nice fish. All right. What a nice bass that is. Now he has got it in here. Get this one out of him if I can without hurting him. What a beautiful slab of bass that is. My goodness. I mean, isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, fella. Get out of here. Bye. Whew.
The Power Shot rig allows Mark to cover water quickly and effectively place his lure directly around cover and in front of the bass. He's still using lighter line than normal, but also using bait casting equipment. He's not worried about getting bigger bass in the boat. He's chosen a Strike King Perfect Plastics finesse worm today as his bait of choice.
To rig the Power Shot or the Drop Shot, either one, this is how you do it. Take your hook, and we're going to tie a Palomar knot. We're going to do something special with that Palomar. I want you to leave some extra line on your tag side. Okay, so I got a little extra line there. Double my line, go through it, bring the hook back through it, wet that, and now I have a Palomar knot. I've tied my Palomar. With the tag in. You take that tag in and you thread it right through the top side of the hook and cinch that down. What that does is that puts this hook out here at a 90-degree angle. And then with your drop shot weight, what I always do, tungsten's pretty expensive. You can just pull it, put it through the tungsten weight and then cinch it up. But what I always do is I go ahead and just tie it on there with a little clinch knot, no big deal. Any kind of knot will hold. And then when that fish jumps, you don't lose one of your drop shot weights. Just tie a little clinch knot on there, it stays on there. So there's your rig. Got your hook up high, got your weight down here. And this is about what I normally use, 15 inches of line, an awful big one for me. I'm gonna go back in here and gather me up a couple more of these oxblood colored worms. And then the top of that worm, about a 1/4 inch. Slide it up, go over the knot and the eye of the hook, come right back in, Texas rig it, and I'm ready to go. Bite right there. There we go. It hit the bottom and just started swimming off. Hit the bottom and just started swimming off. All right, I know your mama's in here. We may have something in our favor, pumping water, well water, into the lake, created current right there in this corner. This might get fun down here. I have used this oxblood color all over the world. It's a laminate worm with a brown top and a purple bottom. It looks really natural in the water, and fish really seem to like it in clean to clear water. I fished it at Lake Gunnersville and fished my way to a top 15 finish this year on the Elite Series Tour. I've caught them at Cayuga in New York on a shaky head. flipping it. I've caught them flipping it with, ooh, there's one. Little guy was running off with old ox blood. Running off with ox blood. He'll grow up to be a big one. I mean, it just catches them. Just flat catches them. You know, it's a pumpkin with red flake on top with just a violet purple on the bottom. Pure violet purple. That mix of a worm right there, that two-tone color, really, really catches some bass. Hold us before we get up there. Fish this corner and see if we can get another bite. Cannot wait to get that ox blood in that current of that incoming water right there. This ought to be pretty cool. We ought to catch one right there. Caught them around the cypress trees, shaking this thing. Boat docks. You know, when you've got wooden pilings of boat docks, it's a good way to fish this thing is power shot. I do that a lot with this bait. Isolated individual pieces of cover. It's a great way to catch them. These high bluebird days, finesse is sometimes the only way you can get a bite. And it is tough, tough, tough with this high bluebird, cold temps and wind like this. This is challenging, to say the least.
An inflow of water from a pump has gotten the bass fired up. This fresh water stirs up the bottom, causing baitfish, bluegill, and other forage to start feeding. It's also created an area where feeding bass of all sizes have congregated. The finesse worm is an easy meal for these feisty bass.
Little guy in that current, right where he should have been. Gotta love this current. Anytime I find an affluent like this, regardless if it's river, lake, those fish will pull up next to that thinking something's going to get washed in, and they position really easy to predict where they're going to be, the way they'll get positioned in that. Just simply Texas rig it. That offset round bend with this big worm holds it in position really well. Guy loaded up on it. I don't think he's a big one. There's a bunch of them laid up there in that current. There's got to be a good one right there. It's too much of an opportunity for him. Oh, easy there. I found a little drain pipe like this one time over in South Carolina. And I'd sneak in there every morning, get me 15 to 17 pounds out of it and sneak out of there. And I had a top 6 finish out of that in the Bassmaster Elite tournament, all because of a little pipe just about like this one. I mean, it was just this fast, but they were all 3-pounders over there. Cast after cast after cast. And that old round bend hook just gets them. Just gets them. It's a 2/0. Round bend. And I'm not afraid of 6-pounders, 7-pounders, or little bitty fish. Not afraid of either one of them. I don't know what I got going here. Look at there. Now, how many casts did we make in there before I finally got a good one? I made a bunch of casts in there. He's not hooked well. I can see that from here. can't get him like that, we'll just grab him this way. There's the hook is coming out the bottom of his lip there. How about that? How many did we catch? 10, 12 of those little guys? Then I finally got a decent one. Tough day of fishing. That's a very welcome addition to the boat right there. Ox blood eater right there. How about that? This might be a little bit better fish. And it is. That's a really good one right there. How about that? Nice bass right there. Got him on a drop shot with a little twist. All right, Junior, come here. Got him. Got him, got him. There's the hook. There we go. Another good fish out of there. I mean, that's 12, 14 fish, and it's another good keeper out of there. Let's just see how many more we can get. Another decent fish. What's another good one? Another good one. Oh, that's a really good one right there. Come here, fella. I can't get my finger in his mouth. How about that? The better fish are in the heaviest current. So I started by fishing the peripheral of the current. Now I'm throwing right into the heaviest current. Good one. I am liking this.
Just because something is finesse doesn't mean it only catches dinks. You don't have to fish super slow either. Today has demonstrated that these alternate presentations can pay huge dividends. Mark is still looking for one more kicker bass.
There we go. That's a good one, it feels like. He's running like a good one. Yeah, look at that bucket head. Doggone it. Power shot at him. Aha. Stay on there, Big D. That's a big one right there. Oh my gosh. I'm just kind of holding on for the ride right here. Ooh. Just kind of holding on for the ride. He's pulling the darn boat, even with that worm in his nose. Man, I got to get the darn poles down to stop. That's a good one. That's a dandy. Come here, sweetheart. You don't realize it, but you caught. Would you look how thick this fish is? Oh, look at that. Now, on a day that's high and blue and ugly, I couldn't get them to do anything else. So I went to a finesse tactic, and man, did it work out. Power shotting, just a Bubba drop shot on a darn casting rod. You don't think that's not a good one. Come see us again next week on Mark Menendez Bass TV, and we'll show you. We'll show you ways to get these big ones just like that one. What a good one that is. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful bass. Look at that big thing.
Mark Menendez Bass TV is brought to you by Skeeter Boats, Seaguar, Lose, feel the difference, Strike King Lure Company, MotorGuide, never stop. Closed captioning provided by Die Safe.